A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Ashing Sani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Total number of COVID-19 cases in the country has surpassed the 400 mark. Prince Charles makes an appeal to help Sri Lanka and other South Asian countries affected by the coronavirus. News in detail. 47 new COVID-19 cases were reported for the day, making it the highest number of coronavirus cases identified within a single day in Sri Lanka. Hence, the overall number of COVID-19 cases in the country has surpassed the 400 mark. Meanwhile, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva noted that more than 30 Navy officers from the Valisara Navy base have been tested positive for the coronavirus today. The total number of coronavirus cases in the country as of 7 p.m. today is 415. Meanwhile, Army Commander stated that a special flight carrying 76 Sri Lankan students who were stranded in Nepal landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport today evening. They have been later directed to the Poonani Quarantine Centre. Furthermore, Dr. Anil Jasinghe added that the highest number of PCR tests of 1,142 were carried out yesterday. He explained that 397 tests were conducted on April 10th and there has been a significant increase in the number of PCR tests carried out per day. He added that the University Grants Commission has agreed to supply more PCR tests to the Health Ministry. The Mull Area Research Centre, which is nearing the construction, will have the capacity to facilitate 1,000 PCR tests per day. Dr. Anil Jasinghe added that with these developments, the number of PCR tests in the country can be increased significantly. Meanwhile, DIG Ajit Rohana said that the concept of the social distancing was practiced or respected by most of the people in the curfew-lifted areas these days. DIG Rohana, addressing the media at the National Operations Centre to prevent the spread of COVID-19, said that they deployed the police officers in civil attires and according to their reports, the assistance from the general public is not satisfactory. He also added the police have already received information on the purchasers for the illegal liquor preparation during curfew period and raids will be made today onwards to arrest the culprits. DIG Ajit Rohana also added that the decision of going back to the normal lifestyle completely depends on the behaviour of the general public. Subsequently, amidst coronavirus crisis, Sri Lanka Air Force has converted a Y-12 plane to an air ambulance under the guidance of the commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force, Air Marshal Sumangala Dias. This air ambulance includes relevant ventilators to aid patients with breathing difficulties and other key facilities. This is stationed at the Ratmalana, Sri Lanka Air Force Base. Prince Charles today launched an appeal to help Sri Lanka and other countries in South Asia affected by the coronavirus. Prince Charles, in a video message posted on his official Twitter account, who has recovered from COVID-19, said the current public health crisis is a challenge which confronts us all in every community, in every part of the world.
As the royal founding patron of the British Asian Trust, I wanted to lend my support to the launch of an emergency appeal to help those who are suffering most across India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. I started the British Asian Trust 13 years ago with the help of members of the British Asian community to support those in greatest need in South Asia.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa assures that the cultural sites and institutes will be reopened after a proper assessment conducted by a multi-sectoral team of specialists. Premier made these observations yesterday among cultural ministers connected to UNESCO at an online discussion conducted to share country-wise mechanism taken to reduce the COVID-19 effect on the culture.
To try to contain the coronavirus outbreak, the government has shut down airport arrivals. Therefore, the tourism sector and the cultural sector have come to a complete standstill. As soon as international travel resumes, we hope to restart our cultural and natural heritage tourism under strict health and safety measures. This will allow us to restore the livelihoods of thousands of people who depend on cultural tourism, creative industries, hospitality, and leisure industries and SMEs that are associated with cultural and natural sites. However, the reopening of cultural institutions, sites, or space will be done only after a comprehensive assessment of potential risks conducted by a multi-sectoral team of specialists.
Speaking further, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa highlighted that the government's support from the national budget will be required to refurbish the cultural and tourism sectors. He also added that international expertise along the means of technical support will be needed to promote the country's cultural landscape.
Before the COVID-19 crisis, Sri Lanka cultural and natural heritage tourism sector was self-sustained enterprise. However, in the immediate future, it will need government support from the national budget. Sri Lanka may also require international assistance in the future in the form of expert technical advice and material support to develop advanced technologies to protect visitors to heritage sites and local communities from health threats. Sri Lanka looks forward to engaging and working more closely with other countries to develop mechanisms to address challenges and coordinate more efficiently in case of emergencies similar to the current crisis. We would also be interested in exploring opportunities with organizations like UNESCO to allow people around the world to experience Sri Lanka's beautiful cultural and heritage sites.
Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The government plans to borrow 400 million US dollars from the Indian Reserve Bank to increase the liquidity of the Lankan rupee to face prevailing situation created by the COVID-19 outbreak. This was revealed by co-cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena addressing the media at the Government Information Department.
ඉන්දියානු සංචිත බැංකුවෙන් ඇමරිකානු ඩොලර් මිලියන 400ක
The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal by Finance Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to borrow 400 million rupees from the Indian Reserve Bank as a short-term measure to maintain the international liquidity of the currency. Why we went for this was the world is experiencing the gravest economic recession at present. Almost all the countries have halted international trade activities and all the exports and imports have come to a standstill. It resulted the most of the countries to experience the depreciation of their currencies. This has affected whole the world and a single country alone can't find the solutions. You know, in 1944, the World Bank and the IMF were set up in the same situation. No tourists are arriving in the country and no foreign exchange these days. The garment industry was our main export component and the demand from the European market badly come down by today. No operations are taking place at the factories by the BOI. Therefore, the central bank and the treasury have already taken a lot of measures to maintain the rupee below 200 rupees against US dollar.
මේ තුලින් රුපියල් 200ට වඩා අඩු මට්ටමින් විනිමය අනුපාතය පවත්වාගෙන යාම සඳහා ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහ බැංකුවත් මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයත් ඊටම විචක්ෂණශීලී මූල්‍ය කළමනාකරණ ක්‍රියාවලියක් ක්‍රියාවට රංගලා තියෙනවා.
Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Aryasinghe noted that the Ministry of Foreign Relations, together with the Export Development Board and Sri Lankan missions abroad, are continuing to explore access for Sri Lankan products into new markets to support the government's economic plan in sustaining the economy during the pandemic and mitigating the economic downturn in its aftermath. Informed by weekly updates provided by missions abroad on the evolving world markets as well as prevailing requirements and limits in their countries of accreditation in the background of COVID-19 pandemic, this initiative has thus far facilitated in connecting Sri Lankan exporters with importers in 10 countries with regard to tea, spices, personal protective equipment, rubber gloves, face masks, reusable masks, surgical caps, surgical gowns, sanitary tissues, processed foods, fruits and vegetables, spices and seafood. Additional Secretary Economic Affairs PM Amza noted that To date, 56 market updates have been filed by Sri Lanka missions abroad, and all of them have been uploaded in the EDB website, which can be accessed at www.edb.gov.lk/market alerts. The summary of the market updates received so far revealed that there is demand for Ceylon tea from 21 countries, face masks from 25 countries, protective gowns from 15 countries, personal protective equipment from 13 countries, and rubber gloves from 15 countries. There are also demands for food and vegetables from 13 countries. The ministry is also working with Sri Lanka Tea Board in expediting the process of authentication of export documents in respect of tea consignments to various destinations in Middle East and Turkey, as well as several other products. Additionally, the ministry is also supporting Sri Lanka tourism in facilitation required for over 12,000 foreign tourists who have chosen to remain in Sri Lanka despite the present COVID-19 pandemic and the prevailing curfews in many parts of the country. Bringing you the latest global information pertaining to COVID-19, it is reported that more than 2,733,500 coronavirus cases have been identified worldwide, along with more than 191,180 deaths. Meanwhile, the US Congress has passed a new COVID-19 relief package worth of $484 billion, which is the fourth aid bill to clear Congress in response to the pandemic. Accordingly, the US has more than 886,700 COVID-19 cases, and its death toll has surpassed 50,000 by today. At this juncture, the US Congress passed a new COVID-19 relief package totaling $484 billion, and that is the fourth aid bill to clear Congress in response to the pandemic. Last month, Washington passed the largest economic stimulus package in US history with $2 trillion in coronavirus aid. Yesterday's bill will bring the total federal spending on COVID-19 relief up to $3 trillion. In the meantime, US President Donald Trump has been criticized by the medical community after suggesting research into whether coronavirus might be treated by injecting disinfectant into the body. He also proposed irradiating patients' bodies with UV light. However, doctors warned the president's idea could have fatal results. Kashif Mahmood, a doctor in West Virginia, in the tweet said he can't recommend injecting disinfectant into the lungs or using UV radiation inside the body to treat COVID-19. Moving on, here is how police in Fort Myers in Florida showed their gratitude to healthcare workers at Lee Memorial Hospital during the coronavirus pandemic. Subsequently, foreign media reported that 2 children in Vietnam have given 20,000 medical masks to the UK. The British ambassador to Vietnam, Gareth Ward, wrote a letter to the children thanking them for their donation. South Africa's president announced an easing of some lockdown restrictions beginning next month, citing economic concerns. But President Cyril Ramaphosa warned that most people should remain at home, public gatherings remain banned, and the country's borders will stay closed. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced that from 1st of May, some businesses will be allowed to reopen and a third of their employees can return to work. Looking at the situation in Asia, South Korea's government said it will provide cash handouts to every household, not just middle and lower income ones as initially planned. In the meantime, Japan warned the fallout from the virus threatens to push its economy into a deep recession. Indonesia temporarily banned domestic air and sea travel starting from today. The Philippines announced it will extend the lockdown of Manila and other high-risk areas until 15th May. Malaysia extended most lockdown measures for 2 weeks until 12th May, but looks at allowing some sectors to resume business. And that's all the news for today. Stay home, stay safe. See you again on Monday with State of Business at the same time. Until then, take care. Good night.